right, let's take a peek and see what's in the box. And we have a rifle, kind of what we were expecting. This is the Troy pump action rifle. Comes with some beautiful bubble wrap and some more bubble wrap. And let's see what we have over here. We have a lock, which comes with pretty much everything that we get. The weapons record book, which I don't really actually think I've ever seen one of these before. So number of rounds, okay. To be kept with the fire book it came with for easy identification, right, the model and caliber. You can track the rounds from the firearm and every time you've used it. So for those who are incredibly OCD and anal, this is going to be for you.
Benny, Benny, Benny.
Here is the owner's manual, and that's about it in the box along with the gun. So we're going to take this out and see what we get. It does come with one standard 10-round magazine, and it takes regular AR magazines. You can see there's a lot of similarities between this and your standard AR. The top and the bottom receivers do not fit with an AR receiver, so cosmetically it does look like it, and there are certain parts that are interchangeable. For example, the trigger group in this gun is interchangeable with an AR, so you could swap that out. I believe the Picatinny rail is standard. The magazines, as we said, those would work, and I don't actually think this is, so that's about it. All right, so we got the rifle out of the box, and again, we have the lock that came with it, the owner's manual, and this probably deserves a quick look. The weapon record book. I've never received one of these with a gun that I've bought before, a rifle, shotgun, anything. So kind of interesting. And you can see it's literally to keep track of what the gun is and what dates you've shot it, the number of rounds, cumulative number of rounds, and any notes. So kind of a cool little thing. But let's get into the gun itself. So as you can see, it looks a lot like an AR, but it's not really an AR, which is why it's legal. Most of the assault weapons bans, as they're called, refer to semi-automatic weapons. Because this is not a semi-automatic weapon, the action is pump action, it doesn't apply. So even though it looks nasty, it's really not nasty. Interesting thing about this gun, when I realized that there were more and more jurisdictions that were going to restrict AR-15s, I started looking around for alternatives that would shoot in .223 and .556. Honestly, there aren't that many. Remington used to make a rifle, the 7615, that was a pump action rifle. Outside of that, a few more manufacturers are starting to make them, I think because there is a need and a desire. Let's take a look at this really quickly. You can see that it has a Picatinny rail running the length on the top so that we can put our sights in. This is what they called optic ready, which in my book just means they didn't put any sights on it. It has the standard fire safety, and you guys will have to forgive me. I'm not a big AR guy, so if I'm saying something that's wrong or stupid, please be forgiving, and you can point that out in the comments. The fire safety switch, it's kind of interesting, and again, this gun has been, let's get to the slide release since we're doing this. The slide release, which is a little bit awkward, is underneath, right? And it is empty, and let's take the magazine out. It has a standard magazine release, and again, it takes an AR mag. So this gun is clear. But what I noticed was you cannot put this gun into safe mode, right? It's locked unless the slide is either back and then it goes in, or now that the trigger is engaged fully and it's in the front, it can go into safe. Otherwise, I was perplexed. So I don't know if that's similar on an AR-15, but on this gun, to move it into safety, the trigger actually has to be ready to go. The magazine, as I said, is pretty standard. It's beveled, so it does look like it will take this relatively easily. And not used to doing this upside down for the camera, but it goes in pretty well. This again is the slide release if you need it. The magazine release is there, pretty standard, and it comes out. The stock on this gun is what they call their Battle Axe stock. The interesting part, which I can't really show you because it would go way out of camera right now, is that there is a compartment in here that lets you store stuff in it, and we'll try and open it real quick just to show you. You need to take some kind of tool and depress it, push down and open. And again, apologies, I just couldn't do it at that angle. And you have some storage compartments in there if you need it. And closes up pretty simply again then. In regard to the slide, the action, is actually not bad. The trigger, and we will go ahead and test the trigger, feels it, according to the spec sheet, it comes in somewhere between 5 to 7 pounds on the trigger pull. And honestly, it feels about like that. I've played with this and dry fired it a little bit. At first, it was really gritty, very much so. The more I played with it, the more it loosened up. So I have optimism that the trigger will not be as bad as it was right out of the box. So let's try that right now. All right, so we're gonna get that into position. Turn on our meter. Let's see what we get. 5 pounds on that pull. For 13 on that one. And let's do one more just to see where we come in, since they said 5 to 7. Yeah, 4-1. So again, the trigger, not bad, not as bad as I thought. In regard to the gun itself, the overall length on this gun is 37. The stock on it does come out, so you can expand that. Helps to get your cheek weld where you want it. We're going to leave it close up for now, just so that it stays in frame. The gun itself weighs around 6 pounds, and it is made out of aluminum. I believe the aluminum that it's made out of is 6106T, which, since I have I know less about chemistry than I know about ARs, is supposed to be just this side of steel strong. So now, what I kind of wanted to do too was go over putting some sights on this. So I think we've covered the basics of this particular gun. I'm going to take it out to the range and we will shoot it and, you know, give you a better idea of how it shoots. But for right now, let's put some optics on this. So what I did was ordered this $30 set of iron sights from Ray Tice. I will say, and we'll put the link in the description, we got these from Amazon. They are not really great. And the reason that I say that before we even put them on is if you look at this, and I know there's some varying opinions on which way the cup is supposed to be for the rear sight, but basically I think they put it on backwards because I believe the cup was supposed to be facing the shooter. And at least it is on their pictures. Needless to say, I actually kind of like it when the cup faces away. That's due to you know, cutting down on the refraction on the eye and giving you a cleaner picture. But anyhow, not exactly impressive when they send you a product that doesn't match the picture. So let's put this on. We're going to open this up and we're going to try and put this as far back as we can while it's laying flat, right? And the reason being, and again, I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination in rifles, but my understanding is that the further the rear and the front sight are from one another, the more accurate, or precise rather, the gun can be. So we'll get this, just place it in so that it doesn't move as far back as possible. Let's tighten this up, and that's pretty solid for right now, and that'll work and comes down. The release button is supposed to be to the left side of the rifle. Now we're going to go take the front sight And we are also going to place it so that it lays flat towards the shooter and have the release button on the left-hand side. Now these do have some nice little fiber optics in the front. That's one of the reasons that I went ahead with this particular one. We'll see how it shoots when we get it out there. I'm cautiously optimistic. So we've got that. And we'll tighten that up as well. Now you want to be careful when you're putting accessories on so that you're cognizant that your hand, right, is going to be sliding. So you don't want anything that's going to interfere with that slide movement. Let's put them up. And there we go. And yep, it works. I can see through it. So that part's good. Now what I thought would be fun as well is to put on this True Glow. This is an old red/green dot that I had, and I just wanted to fix it to this and see if we could actually still use the iron sights while this was on. So we'll go ahead and do that too. So we're gonna loosen this up. And I'm going to try and keep this as back as far as possible to see if I can still see through this. We'll take this off and we'll turn it on. And let's see. So I can still, the height still works really well. So I can go ahead and see through it. So now we have our red dot, which will be fine for my purposes. Don't have any long range shooting facilities in the area that I'm at. So what we'll do is we're going to set these for 25 yards, because if you set a rifle for 25 yards, you're also setting it for 100 yards. So in theory, if we set this accurately at 25, it will also hit the exact same target at 100 yards. So the red dot is functioning. So it looks like these work pretty well. We're going to take this gun out to the range and test it there. The only other thing that I really kind of wanted to go over with you guys is a super easy breakdown of this gun. So now we've got our iron sights, we've got our optics on there. Let's assume that you've gone out to the range and you shot this thing, and it's dirty, so you want to clean it. Now, what I will say, based on every review that I've read and or seen, this gun, because it doesn't have a gas system, is not going to get nearly as dirty as an AR-15. So the cleaning process should be much simpler. For people who don't love to clean guns as a hobby, that's probably a good thing. But just like an AR, it has a pin back here, and we push that forward, and now we can take the upper from the lower. All right, if we want to do a full disconnect, we simply take this pin and we can push this out as well, and that'll come out. Ooh. There we go. So this is obviously the trigger unit. This is a typical AR. So if you don't like this trigger, you should be able to just replace it with a drop-in AR trigger and not have to futz with it very much. If you like playing around with ARs, you could certainly do it. If not, you could buy a drop-in unit and that'd be fine. Now, this is supposed to stay pretty clean because there isn't any gas going on in the system. To get the bolt out, you take this and you slide it back, and if you see, there is a small little notch there, and we are going to push on that notch, and I believe we should be able to get the bolt out when we push down. At least that's what the manual says. So if we push down, yep, sure enough, there we go. So now, oops, that comes out, and again, you'll see it looks pretty much like an AR to me. Down here, You can take this apart very easily and clean it as necessary. The gun's brand new, so we're not going to do that. So after fiddling with this for a little bit, turns out that this goes back in, but only if this is not depressed all the way. So you have to kind of push in while this is going down.
That's what she said.
So we're going to get this and just slide it in to the point where it starts to move the slide, okay? So you want that there. It's a little bit tricky, but we're going to try this. So you push down, and as you are pushing down, then it slides in. But you have to depress this slowly at the same time as you're pushing the bolt into place. So I really hope that this gun does not need to be cleaned a lot, because that was kind of a pain in the butt.
That's what she said.
So we're going to go ahead and put this back together again real quick. And there we go. Put that pin in and put that pin in. And there you go. That is the Troy pump action rifle. I hope you enjoyed this part of it, the unboxing, us going through it a little bit. We're going to take it out to the range. We'll shoot it, give you feedback on that, and then we'll actually do a cleaning and see if we got any better at putting this thing back together again. See you next time on Da Gun Guy.